anime and transfer students add up pretty well, with the new kid managing to completely take over more than just the screen by that grand entrance alone. I'm pretty sure we've gone down that road more than just a couple of times now, and with that setting as crisp as it gets, it's kind of hard when the season doesn't include protagonists who are there to make sure every scouter blasts to bits all over the world. With that being said, let's give ourselves the memory check and let some OP main characters let the skills do the talking. Tenjou Tenge. Let me ask you, what comes to your mind when I say the word high school? Friends? Opportunities? Picking up new interests and hobbies to get some digits? Well, you know it's not an anime unless the school focuses on fighting styles that bring the best the human body has to offer, right? I'm pretty sure Bob and Nagi made the right choice, since Total Academy might be the utopia, the fighter's paradise that the boys have been dreaming about this entire time. A lot of fights, even though one-sided, making us witness that these two ruffians pack more than just a punch, with the adrenaline skyrocketing after every other 5 minutes or so. But what's this? We might be having some competition on our hands. Let's see what the Queen duo has to offer, since I'm pretty sure looks isn't the only domain they have focused on the entire time. Wise Man's Grandchild. How great a man would be if he were to give it all up for a life that only commoners can have in this mortal world we live in. I'm pretty sure a lot of us would count that as a curse rather than a blessing, but Merlin isn't the Wizard King for no reason at all now, is he? Secluding himself deep in the woods, preferring a quiet life after basking in the spotlights his entire life, Merlin's chosen a road none would have expected, given raising Shin is the only goal he's left with. The old man's done a pretty good job, and Shin might be the 1-in-a-million-year talent that only the fables, only the legends can speak of. But you've got to balance it out, no? Honing one aspect, one skill is going to leave you a total zero when it comes to the best life has to offer. Magic Academy might be getting one hell of a gem, but things might be turning out totally different. Seiken Tsukai no World Break. Magic sure knows how to get things going. I mean, in a setting where amnesia and schizophrenia gives meaning to such a gibberish setting is something that can only be explained as something supernatural at best. With ancestral arts, metaphysicals, and the Kurogane Kurama making the most of what we have here, World Break makes sure you aren't bored in the slightest throughout the entirety of its runtime. With the opening ceremony and everything, every other student is sure to be super excited, given it's the beginning of a new chapter, a new era of their life that will shape the future that's about to come. But Moroha wouldn't be able to forget the fateful day for the wrong reason, since with girls coming up and telling him tales about his past life, what's even reality at this point? Witness how Moroha uncovers the mysteries as the show makes sure we aren't half asleep while watching it. Qualidea Code. Perfect characters who bring something totally new and unique to the table are a total treat to watch. That's just how anime works. But when you give us not one, not two, but 6 OP characters, a lot of us would be getting heart attacks by the minute. Qualidea Code shows us how unpredictable anime shows can be, with the world doing a total 180 on both the characters and us at the same time. But I've got a question. How do you come up with that Frozen Kids idea? I mean, you pretty much stole it from Cowboy Bebop, but I won't be blaming you for that, since I think you're pretty decent. Anyways, with the kids now wide awake and acquiring worlds from that deep slumber they had in the dream world, things are looking pretty good, since those unknowns sure need to be shown who's the boss here. With the 6 in charge of the different cities, teamwork is key if humanity is to take down the threats that endanger their existence itself. Noblesse. The most disappointing adaptation of 2020, Noblesse did it way worse compared to Tower of God and God of High School in my opinion. Being the big 3 of the Webtoon universe, they all decided to run it down the same time, the same year. What a way to go off and burn themselves for fun. But I'm pretty sure the new fans would remember Noblesse as something totally different, for it brought the same old OP protagonist setting that the audience is a total sucker for. With the school setting meeting a race, a being that has never walked that campus since the advent of time itself, Noblesse is something you need to see for yourself to determine whether it's really your cup of tea or not. But one thing's for sure, if you're here for the action, then we've got a lot of that. And you know how Webtoon's action's like: lightning fast, adrenaline punching, and gut wrenching to no end. Skate the Infinity. Skateboards and anime haven't really had a meeting before now, have they? Sure, we've had the likes of Air Gear rack up the fans for anything but those wheels, but Skate was that breath of fresh air we needed as we dived into the year that was going to change our lives for the better. Underground battles, hip-hop, and pop art take over the screen as Lenga shows us how snowboarding and skateboarding are all but the same thing at the end of the day. With new foes coming up to show their skills on the board, and the duo making sure they don't go down without a fight, as that Dio fanboy gives us that JoJo vibe we haven't experienced for like 2 years now. The characters are probably the strongest point of the show, and with the setting being as new as it gets, missing out on this one would be a total sin. Platinum End.
白のよ幸せになろうと生きようと決めたのに
This new show from the creators of Death Note might be the follow-up we've been looking for all these years. Sure, it doesn't take off after what Light brewed up that entire season, but a change is all but welcome when it comes to the anime universe. Seeing death gods being replaced by angels and arrows making the pins go completely non-existent, Platinum End shows us a rather primitive version of Future Diary, where the one who's chosen to be a god doesn't use his phone to read what's about to come their way. With only a couple of episodes out, the series already looking something promising, with the cliffhangers and the plot making everything have that nostalgic feel while looking fresh and crisp at the same time. It's finally hitting the screen after all this time, and we're so excited to see it for ourselves. Tokyo Majin. If you're looking for that nostalgic martial arts feel that all these new action anime have forgotten about, then Tokyo Majin is here to bash that into you. With transfer students comes a lot more problems, since that's necessarily a prerequisite for the danger to knock at all our doors at this point. Someone has to come forward to take matters into his own hands if the Dark Arts Awakening is to be put on hold, cause that name alone would strike fear into the heart of almost any other anime character we have on hand. Tokyo Majin takes a simple setting, adds a bunch of fan favorite elements in it, and presents the blend in such an action-packed manner that it's almost impossible to hate or sleep on this hidden gem we have here. Its old feeling would surely get you hyped, and with the characters making their skills do the talking, the show's one hell of a ride. Full Metal Panic. One of the shows everyone knows the name of, but when it comes to explaining what the synopsis or the plot is, there isn't a sound for some reason. I think Full Metal Panic's still getting overshadowed by the all-time superstar Full Metal Alchemist, given both of them have names that almost make the other sound like a knockoff of the first one. Mecha and comedy have never blended so well, since with this bubbly posse of characters and the most hilarious of situations on our plate, Full Metal Panic is a setting that totally justifies the fanbase it's piled up all these years. With the show not only limited to a season and with follow-ups, spin-offs, and alternative versions hitting the screen every now and then, it's definitely a title you need to pick up as soon as possible. The Misfit of Demon King Academy. The 2020 Isekai bad boy that none of us saw from a mile away, the Misfit of Demon King Academy took the whole demon lore concept to the very next level. It takes more than just a human heart and a demon's body to sacrifice yourself for your kin to put an end to all that endangers your species. But things didn't turn out the way he expected, for now in the Demon King Academy, no one buys the fact that he was the very one they've been waiting on and preparing for all these years. Imagine having the world do that flip-flop on you. Breaks one's heart that very instant. But Anos kept at it, and against all odds, took out every other foe and obstacle that stood in his path to reclaim that title, to reclaim that throne that was rightfully his from the get-go. One of the most versatile when it comes to the Isekai scene, it's sad that things ended up the way they did with this one. Rest in peace, Sensei.